All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to Nail School with Greg Salo. Hope you guys had a wonderful week. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Want to be able to lay down some tips and tricks that are going to help you guys achieve greatness when it comes to working with acrylic. Um, I would say that the biggest struggle for a lot of beginners is you know, learning how to pick up the product and how to set it down. So, what I'm going to show you is really going to make a huge difference. For all of you guys out there, just make sure to smash the like button. It'll definitely get the word out there. And for those people that are learning nails, it'll definitely make a huge difference. All right, so here's the thing. You notice that the amount of liquid that I fill inside my dish, what you want to do is you want to lightly press one side. You don't want to pull it or swirl it or tap it on both sides. You just want to lightly tap. And then what that's going to do is it's going to give you the ability to pull down. So you want to pull down around a 45-degree angle and bounce inside the powder, right? This is going to give you the ability to pick up a nice fluffy bead on one side of the brush, right? That way, when you set it to the surface, it's going to release without sticking to your brush, okay? So, what we want to be able to do, again, for all you guys out there who are just joining us, make sure to smash the like button. The more likes we get, the more people are going to see that Nail School is up and running. All right, so what we want to be able to do is use, again, the brush to tap on one side, and this is going to give us the ability to pull down and bounce inside the powder to pick up a nice fluffy bead on one side of the brush. You do not want to swirl and pull on this side and then water ski across the surface. If you water ski across the surface, you're going to get this really nasty bead, right? As you can see, it looks like a booger on the end of the brush. And you don't also want to do this. You don't want to take your brush and just set it into the surface. If you just set it into the surface without doing anything, right, you can end up seeing, right, look how dry it is on one side. And if you have too much liquid, watch what ends up happening. If I just set it into the surface, sometimes it ends up falling inside your powder. You don't want that as well, right? If you end up, you know, trying to go for it, go like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. What ends up happening sometimes is you end up picking up this giant asteroid, right, outside the powder. So that's, again, garbage. You don't want that. You want to be able to lightly tap and you want to be able to come down at a 45-degree angle. That way you're going to get something that's going to absorb really, really well. Okay, so once you're done doing that, you have to remember there has to be a certain angle of application. You can't keep the finger flat and come at an angle. If you come at it like this, watch what ends up happening. If you keep the finger flat, right, another thing is, for those of you guys that are learning, you don't hold the brush here and like tap like this. This is not correct. You have to be able to address the brush just like you're writing, right? It has to rest inside the crease of your hand, right? And then if you're holding the hand, you're going to notice that I have great balance. This applies to your gel brush, this applies to your polish bottles, this applies to the gel polish, this applies to holding your electric file. It is the key to your success. You have full connection. Once you have connection, you're able to work, right? So what we're trying to achieve, and I want to be able to show you something, right? If this was the natural nail, right? If this was the natural nail, whatever, if you glued a tip or you sculpted a tip, we are trying to achieve this, right? Notice this at the back, right? You don't want to build something where if this was, again, the surface of the natural nail, you don't want something like this, right? You don't want a gigantic ledge on the back. This occurs when the finger is flat right? The finger is flat, and you had basically a really poor application or consistency, meaning it up. And let's just say you were successful at bouncing and picking it up, but you went like this. You held the brush out here, and then you just applied it flat like that. Okay. What ends up happening if the finger is flat out towards the cuticle areas, and you end up having this giant mushroom cloud on the back end of the brush, which is absolutely awful. What you want to be able to do again is you want to be able to work at an angle. So the finger has to be pointed down towards the towel. And you're going to notice that my brush is flat, connected, right? Flat, right? That way I'm actually able, you can see from the side, if I was to set the brush down like this, it's going to create that arch, right? So if the finger, right, if this is the natural nail again, right, if this is the natural nail, right, and let's just say that, again, you build out your tip, if you lay the acrylic down to the back of the nail and it's pointed down and you're able to use the tip of the brush, right? You're going to notice when you press it down, you're going to be able to press it down flush to the back end of the nail, right? So what does that look like? Well, it looks like this. You're going to be able to submerge your brush. Again, let's bring this in right inside so that you guys can see. I'm going to submerge my brush. I'm going to lightly tap. And what we want to be able to do is at a 45-degree angle, we want to be able to pull, bounce, bounce, bounce. Now, what I want you to do when you pick it up is don't set it down immediately. If you guys are working with cover powder, count out to about 4. See my brush is flat? Watch this. If I keep a little bit of space right here, watch this. All I have to do is lightly tap. Use, again, the tip of my brush. Now notice, as the product starts to move, I just want to show you guys lightly tapping around the perimeter of the nail. Take a look at this. All right, so I haven't done anything, but I wanted to show you something really important just by lightly touching the back end of the cuticle. If I was to brush this out, watch this. This is crazy. But if I was to brush this out, do you see how it naturally, look at that. Everything is contouring. Everything is contouring this way. Everything is contouring this way. Everything is contouring this way, right? And you can see if I was to actually mash this up at the thickest point, which is the apex, you're going to see that level of thickness come through the upper arch if I was going to be building something that extended past the natural nail, right? And for those of you guys that just jumped on, make sure to smash the like button. The more likes we have, it's definitely going to get out and spread the news on what nail school should be like. All right, so you're going to notice again, for those of you guys that have your brush and you lightly tap one side and you're successfully able to pull down at a 45-degree angle and bounce, bounce, bounce to get yourself a nice bead. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to set this down with a little bit of space, and then you're going to use the tip of the brush just to lightly touch around the perimeter of the nail while the bead is self-leveling down towards the stress area. As soon as you got that tight, check this out, from the front corner of the bead and the front of the bead, I'm going to lightly start pulling the product towards the free edge. Again, now, once I get it to this point, once I actually start feathering to this point, you could start to use the body of your brush really, and notice I'm walking over the top, and then once it gets past this point, I could start feathering it towards the free edge, and you're going to see how we're going to create a natural upper arch. Now, because the product is self-leveling, if I was to take the tip of the brush and actually start pulling the sides like this, again, I'm going to have a tapered back end. I'm going to have tapered side walls. I'm going to have tapered side walls. This is going to make it easy for you to file into perfection. For those of you guys that joined, make sure to smash the like button. It is going to make all the difference when it comes to the content. All right, so how do we take that and apply it to doing some sort of sculptured nail? So let's just assume, right? I'm just going to go ahead and clip off this plastic piece right here, right? Because we're just practicing right now, right? And we're going to do some sort of sculptured free edge. Now, when you guys are actually putting forms on the nail, for those of you guys who've never done forms, dude, this is so easy. Check this out. Right. I remember when I was in school, my teacher was like, dude, you need to roll, 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 roll. Dude, that technique sucks. What you want to do is you want to be able to place the tab underneath like this. Check this out. All you're going to do is you're going to create a handle. Create that handle just like that. Open up the arms, right? What this is going to create is space. Check that out. Boom, you have space. Right now, what you're going to be able to do, for those of you guys that struggle, focus on holding the handle. And what I want you to do is come in right here. And then all you're going to do, if there's enough space, is get it right underneath the free edge, right? It's kind of like at an angle. Watch this. All I'm going to do is rock it right when it gets underneath the free edge. I'm going to rock it up. Oh, yeah, check that out. It's tight. Then I can secure the sides, right? So for those of you guys, again, that struggle, you can do this. Now, let's say that you were in a situation, right? You're like, yeah, Greg, but the problem is my nails look like this. They're really square. I don't have any free edge to get that on. Well, what you can do to make it easier for yourselves, right? Remember, you guys, smash that like button. We need as many as we possibly can. All right, I'm going to show you something. I don't have scissors, so what I'm going to end up doing is using, right, these nippers. And what I want you to do is just cut a straight line. Scissors are obviously a lot easier. What we're going to do is we're going to take that, and what you're going to do is you're going to mount that as a platform right there. Boom. See? Then what I want you to do is go ahead and create that handle. Yo, done. Look at that, right? Same thing. Open that up, create that space, right? And again, now you have, again, the handle, right? So watch this. Oh, dude, no way, bro. Tight. Now what you can do, if it's at an angle, you're going to do what? You're just going to take that handle, you're going to go like, oh, okay, I'm just going to get it straight. Okay, dude, I got it straight. Boom. And what I mean by straight is it's not like this. You have to get it underneath the free edge. That way, when you're looking at the side, it's going to be dead straight here. That's what you want. Don't worry about tucking in the corners. Focus all of your attention on trying to get the form flush to the front end of the nail. Everything will come into place if you do that, I promise you. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to build a tip. Right, what kind of consistency do we want? Well, we're not going to do this, right? We're not going to take our brush and bounce, 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 and then go directly to the form. For those of you guys that have ever sculpted on a form, right? And if you don't understand how to get the right consistency, this is what ends up happening, right? Let's say you have the form successfully on. Let's say you successfully pick up a bead, right? And you go directly to the form, right? You're like, okay, dude, I got it. You're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And then you're juggling it. Everything is running all over the place, dude, out of control. Your brush is getting jacked. Everything is getting stiff inside. Next thing you know, you're frustrated and you friggin' quit. I don't want you to quit, right? You have to know the right consistency so that you're successful. All right, so what we're going to do, right? We are going to do, and again, I don't want you to just go straight to the form. You want to work with clay-like consistency. Submerge your brush. Come in, pull, bounce, bounce, bounce. You see how it's on one side of the brush? Check this out. Boom. I'm going to take the back side of the brush. I'm going to set it on the towel. I'm going to give it a matte finish. Check out this consistency now. Oh, yeah. Dude, that is what you want. That is what you're going to be able to move into perfection without it getting away from you. All right, so smash that like button. Make sure you guys are doing that so the rankings and get the word out there to teach more people how to do nails successfully. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to submerge our brush. Again, I'm going to pull down, bounce, 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 right? Again, getting the grain off one side of my brush, because what I'm going to do right now is set it down to the free edge and get myself clay-like consistency. Now, with the body of the brush, notice I have contact with my fingers. I'm going to walk from the top of the bead. I have time. Why? Because I have clay-like consistency. Look at this. So if I'm walking from the top of the bead, I'm not going to slide it into the corner. I'm going to get it even with the growth channel. That's the growth channel right here. From the top of the bead, I'm going to walk it from the top of the growth channel and then try to get it even with my sidewalls. Now, at this point, if you decided that you wanted to brush it forward and then kind of shape the tip, like it's like, my customer likes coffin nails. Okay, well, you know, what you can do is you can then shape the tip, pull it into this beautiful coffin shape. Well, my customer likes oval nails. Well, and you know what you can do is you can kind of, again, use the side of the brush. You can kind of manipulate it. You can round off the corners. You have time to work. You have probably, I would say, about 20 seconds, which again, you know, you're thinking about that. You're like, well, that's not really that long. Well, I mean, count out to 20. Like, you'll be surprised at how long that is, right? But what you're going to be able to do is actually manipulate the shape of the nail into the desired length. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep, look at this. I'm trying to keep the side walls not going past the growth channels. Okay, and like in the end, like, it doesn't matter. I want to be able to show you guys something as well. What we're trying to do is build a sidewall as straight as we can coming off the growth channel. I don't want it angling down like this, because what that's going to end up creating is like a bird claw. We're not building frigging eagle claws on our client. What we're doing is building we're building a structure that we're going to be able to overlay. So if you have this type, and again, for those of you guys who are just starting off, do not worry about whether it's like, you know what, it's I got a little bit more acrylic on this side. You just want to keep it within the growth channels. Give yourself an opportunity to overlay into perfection. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to submerge our brush, right? Now we have to do the overlay. So we're going to use that same, right, rhythm and consistency that we did from the very beginning. Submerge our brush, lightly tap. I want to be able to pull down at a 45-degree angle, bounce, bounce, bounce. I want to be able to get a nice fluffy bead. 1, 2, 3, 4, release. Use the tip of the brush to lightly push around the perimeter of the nail. And then as it gets past the stress area, I pull from the corner. If it starts to slide, I just bring it up, pull from the corner down. Look at this. I don't have to force anything. I'm barely touching the surface and then kind of guiding the product down. If I notice that the product is shifting past the apex, all I'm going to do is use a very light touch and walk over the top, and then as it starts to dry, you're going to notice, right, as I start to brush everything forward, that same technique that I used here, look at that, I'm going to be able to create a work of art that's going to take the least amount of filing to get this into perfection. The only thing I have right now that I have to do is I got to fill that part right there. Cuticle area is done. You want to be able to build a nail that you don't have to file a lot. That perimeter is perfect. That's not going to require me using a jackhammer to get into shape. That is going to require me using barely any hand filing and the least amount of electric filing on the surface, which is exactly what's going to prevent your client from feeling anything on their nail when you are finishing. Submerge your brush, lightly tap, pull down, get yourself a nice bead, tap it off. And I can right now. Watch this. All I need to do is that point right there. For those of you guys that are struggling, take your brush, lightly feather back, balance, use the body of the brush. You don't need to brush anything forward. We're walking over the top, back, over the top, back, over the top to get it absolutely even. And as you can see, right, that free edge that we built, we're able to structure this into a nice almond nail, right? You can see, look at my lower arches. They're dead straight coming off the sidewalls, my cuticle areas, everything is well built. That way, again, I set myself up for the least amount of filing. For those of you guys out there that are learning the art of nails, in order for you to be successful without lifting, number one, you have to have good prep. Number two, you have to be able to apply the nails, right, in the least amount of effort so that you have you want flush ledges around the perimeter. This is going to set you up so that you do the least amount of filing. So if all three of those aspects are done well, right. Tune in for more Nail School. We're here to, again, help you guys achieve a level of nail ninja, right? In order to become a nail ninja, it's not, again, just gluing on a tip and applying it over the nail. There's levels of fundamentals that will help you achieve greatness when it comes to gel polish, gel nails, acrylic nails, learning how to electrify like a nail ninja so that the client, again, doesn't have damage to their natural nails and don't even feel anything. Your client shouldn't feel anything when you file. These are all aspects that we teach. These are all parts of our education. If you guys are more interested, make sure to go to youngnails.com to check everything out. If you guys have any questions, 1-800-777-9170. And again, if you need information on upcoming Zoom classes, online classes, or actual hands-on classes, get a hold of Ray Bracamontes here at home office as well. 1-800-777-9170. Look forward to helping you guys reach that next level of Nail Ninja. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
Subscribe the channel now. Subscribe the channel now. Subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe to the channel.